an entire universe. I thought every thought of how every secret I would, every memory, cry. I lost suddenly at that moment an entire universe. Before swirling stardust, I, inside your heavy skull, realized worlds crumble. I was without oxygen, crying into scattered asteroid belts while comets burn on impact, thinking in an unnamed atmosphere about the sun, a strange blood red. It and I am somehow still alive.
I thought of how I would cry at that moment before I realized I was crying while thinking about it.
Every thought, every secret, every memory, I lost suddenly an entire universe. Swirling stardust inside your heavy skull, worlds crumble without oxygen into scattered asteroid belts. Comets burn on impact in an unnamed atmosphere. The sun a strange blood red, and I am somehow still alive. This one gets a little saucy. This is Lilith. Apples, sins, were not meant juicy and sultry sweet for women like me, pomegranate seeds, the Liliths of this world, rotting in the summer sun. Lilith who, reaping a rancid syrup, would not consent seeping through a thick skin to simply lie painting the green grass beneath Adam red as he fed her on raised ground from that old tree on splintering roots. Lilith who, decaying, left Eden quickly for her home on acid soil on the apple red sea. My heart stopped and waited, desiring in joyful hope to be devoured, for the coming to be remembered of her Savior, as juicy and sultry sweet, that woman an acquired taste named Eve, staining tongues scarlet.
Apples were not meant for women like me, the Liliths of this world. Lilith, who would not consent to simply lie beneath Adam as he fed her from that old tree. Lilith, who left Eden for her home on the apple red sea and waited in joyful hope for the coming of her Savior, that woman named Eve.
Sins, juicy and sultry sweet, pomegranate seeds rotting in the summer sun, reaping a rancid syrup, seeping through a thick skin, painting the green grass red on raised ground, on splintering roots. Decaying quickly on acid soil, my heart stopped, desiring to be devoured, to be remembered as juicy and sultry sweet, an acquired taste, staining tongue scarlet. Lunacy. I will not be a crazy woman, your masterpiece, whatever that means. I do not revere lunacy, the art of subjugation in full moonlight. You want me framed, my brain and belly on your wall dance in separate directions. The artist paints around an abandoned bonfire to glorify himself, composed of canonical books. But I do not revere gold leaf paper flames, swirl your self-obsession up in a gust of cold air. I cannot sit still. I melt slowly for portraits like soft leather bindings.
I will not be your masterpiece. I do not revere the art of subjugation. You want me framed on your wall. The artist paints to glorify himself. But I do not revere your self-obsession. I cannot sit still for portraits.
A crazy woman, whatever that means. Lunacy in full moonlight. My brain and belly dance in separate directions around an abandoned bonfire composed of canonical books. Gold leaf paper flames swirl up in a gust of cold air. I melt slowly like soft leather bindings. How to be alive. I wouldn't know how. I self-prescribed to be drunk, steins full of frothy poetry when I, without my medication, scribble on scrap paper how to live forever, or how to be alive for hours for that matter, illustrating images of the known. It's much harder than it looks, spiraling snail shells, living. It seems easy enough, soft-edged curves spin from the outside counterclockwise in my hand. But it's only the insides that count, steady from years of attempted conches. When I was a young girl, each week I watched Christy Yamaguchi replacing refrigerator art land a triple toe loop with a purple quartz magnet, and I thought, latching lightweight paper, I could do it too. I was placed under grimy takeout menus, a fool. Everything falls. I can't even skate backwards when I close the freezer door.
I wouldn't know how to be drunk without my medication, or how to be alive, for that matter. It's much harder than it looks, living. It seems easy enough from the outside, but it's only the insides that count. When I was a young girl, I watched Christy Yamaguchi land a triple toe loop, and I thought, I could do it too. I was a fool. I can't even skate backwards.
I self-prescribe steins full of frothy poetry when I scribble on scrap paper how to live forever. For hours, illustrating images of the known, spiraling snail shells, soft-edged curves spin counterclockwise in my hand, steady from years of attempted conches. Each week, replacing refrigerator art with a purple quartz magnet, latching lightweight paper placed under grimy takeout menus. Everything falls when I close the freezer door. America. That night, in the eyes of my country, I was waiting with bottle rockets. I am one of those people with illegal Indiana fireworks who have darkened and dirtied with bang snaps and sparkler swords, America. I was waiting for the new moon, that to at least an empty cicada shell, one man and unlit lightning bugs, I am a threat. I ignite the summer sky. I wonder if when hot air hits heavy breath, he knows I'm beautiful and dangerous.
That in the eyes of my country, I am one of those people who have darkened and dirtied America. That to at least one man, I'm a threat. I wonder if he knows.
Night. I was waiting with bottle rockets, with illegal Indiana fireworks, with bang snaps and sparkler swords. I was waiting for the new moon, an empty cicada shell and unlit lightning bugs. I ignite the summer sky. When hot air hits heavy breath, I'm beautiful and dangerous. Practiced. I am not over writing a poem. It about you doesn't exist. That is not it. What this is gets better. I am only I. Putting down will be okay. Thoughts on paper again. Thoughts about you once, yes, but only thoughts. Enough time passes. They are not, I will be, so permanent, practiced as a poem in making morning routine. They are an afternoon break, only words in the bathroom. I will write them, sob inside locked stalls, and then fix face with water and sandpaper towels, let them go, move on. I have to, but not entirely, be able to do that over.
I am not writing a poem about you. That is not what this is. I am only putting down thoughts on paper. Thoughts about you, yes, but only thoughts. They are not so permanent as a poem. They are only words. I will write them and then let them go. I have to be able to do that.
Over it doesn't exist. It gets better. I will be okay again once enough time passes. I will be practiced in making morning routine. An afternoon break in the bathroom, sob inside locked stalls, fix face with water and sandpaper towels, move on, but not entirely over. The thick bark of someone who is hollowed. And now that I am older, I understand death, what it is. I was young to feel when I first met you that smack of wind. Your haggard hands shaking against bark, my scarred wrist. I cannot, you missed my hand, blame her by an inch. I too, with wounds, have wanted my heart to be unmade, beats faster, to be pulled back and to heal unveiled veins. Relieved you knew the burden, one difficult thing of being alive, death. To carve out my labyrinth, the wood at her center would not end, and live there that day like an animal.
And now that I understand what it is to feel that smack of wind against bark, I cannot blame her. I too have wanted to be unmade, to be pulled back and relieved the burden of being alive, to carve out the wood at her center and live there like an animal.
I am older, death. I was young when I first met you, your haggard hands shaking my scarred wrist. You missed my hand by an inch. With wounds, my heart beats faster to heal unveiled veins. You knew one difficult thing, death. My labyrinth would not end that day. Dead vines. I guess that when happiness was happenstance, my body had severed and reset the wrong way. A little ugly, too much struggling, standing against for its own good, creaking kneecaps and rusty wrists. Because I can't keep silent, I started feeling weak, withering and dizzy like a thick-skinned fig. I had been stranded in an ancient olive grove in the desert, overgrown with dead vines for weeks. I survived without food, without air or water, on adrenaline alone.
I guess that my body had a little too much standing for its own good, because I started feeling weak and dizzy like I had been stranded in the desert for weeks without food or water.
When happiness was happenstance, severed and reset the wrong way, ugly, struggling against creaking kneecaps and rusty wrists, can't keep silent, I withering a thick-skinned fig in an ancient olive grove overgrown with dead vines. I survived without air on adrenaline alone. Family photo. And this is the last one. I have yet to find a cure for grief. Anyone able to remove an epidemic ailment? The coat I wear now, all veins, all vulnerable. It's dark and heavy and almost empty. The pockets are in the final fading hour weighted down. Minutes mimic seconds. The parts of my life obscured by sorrow. The 9-year-old, oblivious to the slow drip of sand, never saw coming an hourglass knocked sideways. In the pocket closest to my heart, a hard moment is held there, a picture of my family halted.
I have yet to find anyone able to remove the coat I wear now. It's dark and heavy, and the pockets are weighted down. The parts of my life the 9-year-old never saw coming. In the pocket closest to my heart is a picture of my family.
A cure for grief, an epidemic ailment, all veins, all vulnerable, almost empty. In the final fading hour, minutes mimic seconds, obscured by sorrow, oblivious to the slow drip of sand, an hourglass knocked sideways, a hard moment held there, halted.